So anyway, I wanted to kind of start. I wanted to share my process a little bit, my 3D to AI pipeline, just a bit of it, not everything, and because yeah, as debates on AI start to heat up, there are people who just get a little cray cray. Like I had an unusual occurrence on my LinkedIn. I've had my LinkedIn for roughly about 10 or 11 years. And I would say I've never had a situation where everybody came because most of the times, like unlike Instagram, unlike Facebook and places like that, Instagram's usually a very friendly space. You don't see a lot of people jumping on people. And usually when it happens, more professionals will be like, hey, this is a professional space, and they'll stop it. But for some strange reason, I got a bunch of people jumping on me on my LinkedIn about my AI use. A lot of people use it. In fact, there's most of the stuff I see on there are memes, and AI and charts and graphs and stuff and graphics and videos. And so I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, okay, that's weird that all of a sudden, after all these years, somebody decides to jump on my LinkedIn and a bunch of people. It's almost like a swarm bot army, if you wanted to go that far with it. But one person was like, lazy people use AI, da 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 da, right? And I'm thinking so, and it was funny too because somebody posted a meme to mock me in there, and I said, haha, you do realize memes are derivative, right? He goes, oh, irony just died. I'm like, it's ironic that you don't understand sarcasm. Because the point I'm trying to make here is that, so many memes float around every day that if someone were to actually like take all the memes off of the internet, 90% of the internet probably drop off the face of the planet. You know, memes themselves use screenshots of films and actors and movies, and they take this without people's permission. And the same thing with cover music. I made the point that cover artists also take artists because people understand that when you take, or even when you think about something like collages and stuff, you're taking newspaper, print, and different things and putting it together. And so AI is sort of like an algorithmic version of that, And then when you look at the fact that I'm not even trying to with my own commercial work. Now, when I create a meme, because somebody gave me crap the other day, it's like, well, you said you only, use base materials, but here you are creating this meme with AI. And I said, because all memes are derivative. All memes are derivative. No meme is something that somebody created themselves. They're either using somebody else's photography, film stills, actors, whatever. And we all look at the same way we do cover music, that there's nothing wrong with that. It's transformative work. And so is AI use. AI use is transformative work, you know. And so that's the way I look at it, right? People don't have to agree, but some people got kind of nasty. I had to block them. But because my thing is, I don't mind a debate about that. But if you're gonna call me lazy, if you're gonna call me out my name, you're gonna tell me I'm not an artist, all this stuff, you gotta go because first of all, none of that is true. I'm not gonna spend time all day long defending my track record. It doesn't need to be defended. I have, you know, long standing relationships with the people that I've worked with. And that even today, if I wanted to work with them, I could. But I'm trying to do my own thing. And my own thing is just taking some of the screenplays I know that aren't commercial enough to be produced and produce them myself, not because I expect them to take off, but because I would enjoy doing it. For me, it's just the joy of creating. And I like seeing those stories realized. And if I'm the only one who watches it, great. But, some people enjoy it, and that makes me happy too. I don't make a lot of money with this stuff, but, I make some money. And so that makes me very, very happy because for me, it's not about money. It's about enjoying life because life is short, you know. But all that to say that today I'm going to go a little bit in my process and show you it's not a one stop click. As a matter of fact, it takes a lot of work to do this stuff. I'm going to hold on. I'm not going to share my screen here because I just remembered this poor girl don't got no pants on. So let me put some clothes on her for you because I don't want to get any weird strikes or anything for uh having nudity or whatever on my stuff. I've gotten in trouble for that before. Because see, for me, I see nudity as a natural state. When you think about even the Bible thumpers who freak about that stuff, supposedly when man went in his most innocent state, he was naked. It wasn't until we supposedly sinned that nudity became wrong. but in our natural innocent state, nudity was okay. And so I see nudity as sacred and beautiful. And that's why I see sex as beautiful and sacred. I have no shade towards anyone who can be casual with sex. That's just not me. I'm not a person who can be casual. People who do that, that's their thing. Have at it. I don't personally understand it because it's just not my thing. Let me see. So I'm gonna try to do this before I share the screen because I don't want to shock anybody with her nudity. Let's see, put her in a put some paints on this girl. But as I'm talking about doing this, so yeah, I wanted to show you guys my process because I really feel that people need to understand what people actually are doing when they're merging AI. Because as I was explaining to the AI haters of my LinkedIn thread that just came out of nowhere altogether, that the Copyright Office, there's a girl named Chris Castanova. I'm probably saying her Castanova, and she's a photographer and a mixed media artist. And she's been doing it for some years, but she likes to use AI with some of her stuff. And so she started trying to find how certain aspects of AI can be copyrighted. And one thing she was able to do was show so generative prompts can't be copyrighted, right? But if you use like she would use some of her own base art, you can copyright the results of it, right? Because you have a human element, because you're not using, in that instance, you're not using another artist's work. You're just using AI as sort of a filter, no different than an action, a photographic action. I know somebody tried to argue with me, but it is no different because when you use a process as a filter, it is a filter. When AI is used as a filter, it is not using an artist's work. That's like saying, for example, so well, the process is the style. No, it's not. And I'll tell you why. If you go to art school, my daughter's currently in art school, and they decide to teach you, I don't know, the finer parts of romanticism, the finer parts of, Michelangelo's work, Da Vinci's work, any of the great artists' work, and you decide to apply that work or learn how to do that kind of work. There's a modern day artist who does a combination of surrealism slash romanticism. He's Italian. I cannot think of his name right now. But he does that kind of style. He's not stealing work when he uses that particular style. When he blends sort of a Dalian sort of Da Vinci, Michelangelo style, he's not stealing anyone's work. He is emulating a style, right? And so now if somebody says, I'm going to copyright my style, that's different, right? But certain styles, line drawings, anime, some type of animation, um, CGI animation, these aren't like copyrightable, these are styles, right? Penalism, I think it's called, pointillism, minimalism, cubism, these are styles. And so if somebody takes a style and applies it, you're not stealing anything, right? Unless somebody has said, hey, don't take this particular style, right? And so that's what I do with my work. I am applying a style to a finished product, right? And but the point A to B of that, and I'm not cutting at this, so you'll see the full length of time it takes for me to do this. It's not point and click. I'm going to show you how I build the scenes and put it together before I put it into AI. AI is the shortest part of my process. Okay. And so I just want to make that clear to people because I think people are confused about what it takes to do this kind of thing, right? They're like, one guy goes, oh, somebody's just lazy. They're just like doing their own J. But, if somebody, like with the meme thing, right? If somebody wants to just do a meme and they're not making money at it, then what the hell? It doesn't matter because the person's not taking that work and using it for anything. They're not making money off it. Unlike a cover artist, and believe me, I've been in cover bands, so I'm not trashing cover bands. I'm saying that we can't say it's okay to use intellectual property in one instance and say it's not okay to use intellectual property in another instance. And especially if it's a situation where a person's using their own base art and just using AI to make the process shorter. But now, especially if you're a solo artist, and one person even tried to make the point of saying, "Well, why not hire other artists?" Like, do I look like Pixar up in this bitch? I don't have the money to pay artists. I'm a single solo animator. I'm an indie animator, and I don't like to make people work for free. Number one, whenever I have subcontracted out artists and animators, I have generally I pay them what they ask for, and I don't haggle because I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right to haggle, and the reason why I don't think it's I deleted her. Okay, why I don't think it's right to haggle is whatever price they're asking is the price that they need. And because I deleted her again, and because I have that mindset, I'm not going to ask somebody to work for 3, 4, 9 months on a project. And then number one, who's going to have that kind of time? What would take me 4 months on my own could take a year having to rely on other artists when they can get around to it. No one's going to be as passionate about your own project as you are going to be about your own project. And so the way I look at it is um I'm going to work on my work myself, because it's going to be easier for me to do it that way, right? Easier, faster. When I get up in the middle of the night and I have an idea, I just get up and I work with that idea. I can't do that if I'm working with other artists who are doing it for free. I can't call a woman who is doing, I don't know, colorization for free and saying at 5 a.m., "Hey, I got an idea," right? So it's me relying on myself, not because I'm trying to be stubborn, but because I realize that I can only I have to rely on myself when it comes to trying to finish stuff on the time. And again, I'm doing this as sort of a passion project of mine. I just enjoy um, creating, and I like seeing the ideas I have in my head come to fruition. And whether it's just me enjoying it or people enjoying it, I'm just gonna do it for me, right? Now, when it comes to my screenplays, that's a different thing. I do want to do the collaboration thing. I do want to find someone who'd be willing to do my animations. That's a whole different animal, of course. And so I guess what I'm saying is, I can't do it because I can't afford it, because I want to pay people. I'm on a time crunch, and I don't want to have to rely on other people as far as time is concerned. So that's why, and all this stuff. So it just sounded like a bunch of people who have been sent to me specifically to taunt me about my AI use. And that's a neither here nor there thing. But I will say that I kind of have an idea of who I think did that. And yeah, these particular things are piling up. I will say that too. The process, what they're doing and how they're doing it is piling up, and it's being noted. And I'm hope they're aware of that. In any case, so I've got clothes on this girl. I'm just gonna go with this. I may change her outfit, but I got an outfit for her, and we'll just go ahead and let me go where here. We'll just go ahead and put this on a sheriff thing now that she has clothes on. I can't just it was just a mess. But where is the share? Share settings. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted. Close that. Share. Oh, here we go. Here. Now this is all right. So I'm going to show you this. So this is my Sasha character, and I wanted to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do here. So let's do this. So um, and season two, episode two. I call it, I'm naming the episodes after my favorite 90s grunge songs. Episode one was called In Bloom. Episode two is called Sour Girl. And so the I'm going through how Sasha and Quan, their history, she's feeling some kind of way because he left her at the altar. But he did because he's a secret agent, all this kind of stuff. So she finds this out. He needs her talents. He asks her to help him out. And even though she understands now why he left, she's still kind of salty. So what we see here is her going back to the day that they met. And the scene, this is the dojo where they met, where she's going on an interview. And here he is here. And I didn't feel like he looked enough. like himself. But also I didn't like the office. It's too stuffy for it's supposed to be a very informal dojo, right? Very small. So I figured I was gonna go back and redo it. So and to that end, let me reduce that. So I go in here and I built this, I didn't say built, but I put together this room, a DAZ asset, 3D asset. Because again, I don't see myself as a model or animator as much as I see myself as a um hold on. I see myself more as a writer. And for this project, like it's this passion project, this is more for me than anybody else. And if it ends up being a situation where people enjoy it, all the better. But if it's just a situation where it's just me doing it, fine too. Um, let's see. So, um, I gotta move her. Uh, let's see. Okay, that's what it is. Let's put her back in her seat here. So we got her, and then we've got Quan. And we put him here because as of right now, we don't need him for the scene. Now, the scene I want to do is anxious Sasha waiting in the waiting area of the dojo to speak to him about this job. This is the day that they met, right? So again, I'm gonna change her outfit because this isn't like no interview outfit, but I just wanted to put her in something really fast because I was looking, I couldn't find anything. And sometimes I dress my characters almost like I dress myself. Very, very, should I wear this? Should it be the red pants or the blue pants? Should I put the red ribbon? Yeah. So I'm very conscientious of how I present myself because I think as much as we like it to be the opposite, the world judges you based on how you present yourself. And if you walk around sloppy and things like that, people will make assumptions of who you are as a person. And again, it's unfortunate. That's just the way the cookie crumbles in this world, right? What the heck? Okay. So this is the render here of Sasha. You see the makeup I got on. She's got some earrings on here. Like I said, I'm gonna have to get her a different outfit because this is not an interview outfit, but just for our purposes, right? But yeah, so what I did before this crash happened, I put her on animate. Let's unbake this. So she's sitting in a chair, right? Let me change the camera. The camera. So I put her in this chair and I posed her for, I don't know if this is D-Force. Um, mm, I want to change her outfit. Now I don't want to get into trouble. Because she'll be naked briefly. Uh, and people, as I'm saying in the last video, I've seen people who say, "Well, I'll go ahead and just show, her getting dressed," and there are people like, "Oh my God, children are here! Oh my God, I can't believe." And then someone else decided to cover the model up, and they were like, "Oh my God, we're all adults here." I'm like, that just goes to show that no matter what you do, no matter the choice you make, people are gonna have something to say, and that's why you got to live your life according to what your own rules are. And we're not talking like immoral rules, like I want to go chop people up because it's fun. I'm talking about, what you enjoy in life. If you like chocolate ice cream, eat it. If you like the disco dance, eat it. If you're polyamorous, be it. If you're not, don't be it. Make the choices that are happy for you, that work for you. And don't let nobody, the thing I hate is when someone has a particular type of lifestyle, then all of a sudden they're trying to tell you that you would like, if you are polyamorous and you're trying to tell someone else they have to be polyamorous, or if they're not, and you're trying to tell somebody they should be. But just let people be who and what oh, I like that. Who and what they want to be. And stop trying to make people conform to what you think. You're everybody, there's billions, billions, literally billions of people on the planet. The idea that someone thinks they have the one code of happiness that's going to fit a billion people, talk about God complex, okay? Um, I have the things that make me happy, relaxed, not stressed. You know, I have, like I said, lupus, and I have to worry about things like high blood pressure. You know what makes me relax? Like I test my pulse and my high blood pressure when I do it. Animating, which is why for me it doesn't matter about the money. For me, it's about passion, and that's why I say if two people watch it, or a million, or 10, I'm going to do this kind of thing because I enjoy it. It's like how some people paint, right? And for someone to come and say, you can't do the AI thing because it takes water, it takes resource, you know what else does? Netflix, you know, Hulu, being on the internet fussing at me about how you don't like AI. You know, Pixar, for example, runs gazillions of render farms constantly, and they take up more resources, computational resources, than AI. AI is less computational resource heavy than Pixar's render farms. So people could put that in their pipes and smoke it. I'm just saying, as far as it goes, everything you do on the internet is going to take some kind of water resources or some kind of environmental resources. So I think the people who really feel that passion about it should probably just get off the internet. Don't do anything because they're being hypocrites if they're going to say something about what I did. But anyway, I digress. So, let's see here. So here, homegirl is looking fly. Um, I'm going to show you. Here's one of the reasons why, if you want to know why I use AI. Because people say, "Why do you use AI?" You just I prefer your CGI looks better to me. I'm glad it looks better to you. It doesn't to me. One of the things I didn't like about using CGI only was that it takes so long to drape fabrics. I'll give you a good example. And I'm not going to run it all the way through because it'll take too long. Let's bake this to studio keyframes. Okay, let's see how long it takes. Okay, then once you bake this to studio keyframes, you have to run the simulation of her movement throughout the whole 10 seconds, right? Let's save this, save as. And one of the things I like to do, and I'm gonna show you this, I try to do more than a couple saves because I've had situations where I would have a crash. I try to open a file and I can't open that file. And then when I open a file previous to it, it's so far gone that I have to do several steps back in, and it might take me 30 more minutes to get everything back to where it was. So I find that when I do a save, I try to do 2 to 3 so that if that file crashes, the one previous to it has the same information. Okay. So we'll save as, all right, it's 10. All right. Oops. Just, oh, this stuff was nasty. I don't even understand how anybody drinks this stuff. But anyway, so then this shirt is D-Force. I don't know if the pants are D-Force. And then you got to go to duration. It's animated timeline. Let's go custom timeline. This is going to be 300 frames. Let's start this at 50 and take it all the way to 300. Let's take it to 200. And then we'll see how long it takes to drape this. Well, she's just sitting, right? If she was doing more movement, sometimes it takes longer to drape and simulate. All right, so So what I'm showing you here is this gonna take it takes a while to get fluid movement in the clothing. And if she had deforced hair to get it in the hair. Sometimes if the sitting is weird or the angle's weird, the clothing will explode and different things you gotta keep doing it over and over again. Now with AI, once I get this image done, my base image done, to pull into AI, what it does, it gives you fluid movement, it gives you fluid clothing, it gives you fluid whatever you need. You can type in expressions and different things. And so instead of what I used to do, I would pay subcontractors to create motion files, a mocap, right? And that cost me a bit of money. And with kids and things like that, or the things you're trying to do for yourself, yeah, it's too it would be too expensive. I can't justify the cost it would take to hire people to do this. So as a solo artist, this helps me be competitive, number one, and helps me get done what I need to do to visualize it. It works at the speed of my thoughts. That's how I say it. And so you see where we are right now. We're 1 minute and 24 seconds in on I don't know what frame this is, but I'm just saying. So that's how long it takes. So let's stop that, right? And so that's the thing. It's like I don't want to be sitting here for an hour draping clothing. Every hour counts, especially when you're trying to do an episode and try to do a show on your own without any help. And so, um, let's see here. So what I'm gonna do here, I think this is the lighting I want. Okay. Oop. All right. So let's render settings. It's at that. That's a pretty decent resolution. Current frame. And let's render this. And then I'm gonna pull it into Gemini. I use two uh platforms. I use Kling and then I use Midjourney, but I use Gemini sometimes. And I want to use Gemini. It renders only 10 seconds. Midjourney renders all the way up to 21 seconds, which is actually pretty decent length of time. Um, what is it do? Oh no, it's stuck. I don't know why it's stuck. I may have to close this and open it again. Yeah, fudge. So, and see, there's another thing. This render engine, DForce, it does a lot of. I mean, it's great, but it's really buggy, right? So again, as a solo animator, time is money, money's time, and see, it just crashed because it got stuck. All right. So we're gonna go back and reopen that. And mm, where we at? And I'm not cutting this because I really want you guys to see the length of time it takes to put this kind of stuff together. Like I said before, I did the setup of how to get the room together, but then it crashed. So let's add an extra 10 minutes to what I'm already done here. Uh, where are we at? Watched worlds. Yes. All right. Let's go back to share. Mm. Uh, Everything's. I'm getting the twirly finger of death here. Oh, you can do over the shoulder. How do you do that? You can do side by side. Okay. I'm just gonna like that. I'll try it next time. So here we are again, right? Um, Here she is. We're gonna just go ahead and render. We're at this. Let's render. And then I'm gonna take the render, I'm gonna pull it into Gemini, and I'm gonna show you how I get that fluidity. And because for years, and I used to fuss at DAZ and get my heart going because I'm like, we need a physics engine. Maya has a physics engine. It's like it's a free software. Okay, but we still pay for assets, so it'd be great to have that. And eventually they went ahead and got us the physics engine. It's buggy, but I love the fact that they did it. But the way how long it takes, and I want it so like what I would see in my mind, Isabella walking down the street with her hair blowing, Isabella walking down the street with her dress blowing, and yet everything was so static and it didn't move and it didn't feel alive. Also, I like the warmth that sort of an anime layer gives to the characters so they don't feel so plastic and they don't seem so uncanny valley in my opinion. So that's what I like about it. I'm aware there are people who don't like AI and the way it presents stuff. That's fine for them. That is not what it is for me. And again, I'm all for people who have what they enjoy. Yeah, but don't try to force your ideas of what you like on other people, please. So here we go. No, no. How long will it take to do this? You see the progress bar. Wow, it's going to take a while. And again, here we go. Now, it also depends on how much detail. I will say this, the more detail that you allow your final render to have, the better. Because, especially for me, since I do an overlay that's an anime, once I put the overlay on, some of the details are lost, right? So, the longer you allow the render, the more details you're going to have. I guess for this is gonna take a second. We're looking at maybe 30, 40 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that. Come on. And now I'm gonna use this image, shade image 2026. Make sure it's on the desktop there. And then save. All right. So that's what we got there. And so we're gonna take that and we're gonna take it and we're gonna put it into Gemini. And Gemini goes all the way up to 10 seconds. It is interesting. This is a new thing. So I'll probably play around with this a little wee bit. Um, Describe your video. Let's do glam. And I'll say Shay is in. Did it have an animation? That would be really nice if it did. Of course, it does not. It does all this weird stuff. It'd be really nice if they did an animation, but no, they're not going to. All right. So Shay's in an office, nervous about an interview as she waits. Right? I'll just say like I'm not gonna do anything too deep. All right. So she's sitting here, she's waiting for her interview. Fast hour now. So let's see what happens. And this is my basic process. This is when I'm using just frames. I can do frame by frame too. And it depends because not AI doesn't do all motions great, right? Dance, still kind of iffy. So sometimes when I have like group dance or a particular type of dance, I have to do the frame by frame method and then pull the video into a video to video AI filter. But when I can, because this is faster, I do frames and then I pull the frame in and then I animate the frame, right? And then that way AI acts almost like a mocap and it's just way easier and it cuts so much time. As I was explaining previously, uh, with the entire season of Music of Magic, I got it done between 4 to 5 months, whereas previously it would have been 9 to 10, right? And so, because of how long it would take me about 3 weeks, depending on the complexity. Oh, now let's look at this.
I've been waiting for ages. Where is she?
I love it. And then I take this and, and I have been toying with the idea of doing a season where it looks more hyper real like this because I love that and I love the movements. But I have been taking, like, maybe season three will look like this, you know? But as of right now, I'm still doing it in an anime style like we see here. Let me pull this in because, I like this style too. And depending on what I use, like with iClone, when I apply the anime style, it looks a lot like this. And I like this style. Hold on.
Reported the anomaly days ago. Where the hell is...
Hey, you can't go in.
What's going...
This woman used.
Okay. And then, but when I use DAZ base, it has a little bit more realism when I apply the filter. Now, this was a DAZ image. And so when I apply a filter, it looks a little bit more real. And so what I do sometimes, depending on what I want to do, if I'm doing dance or if I'm doing something surreal, I use iClone base. When I'm doing some close-ups or something emotional, I use DAZ base. And, so I really, it's, for me, it's feel and what I want to do, right? I think this was iClone. Yeah, this was iClone.
Whoa. Well, hey there, little fella.
And so, scroll back here. Ah, okay.
Where is she? I've been waiting for half an hour.
This is awesome. Now, the only thing I don't like about Gemini, you have to be very specific to let them know, like, look, dude, don't, and also,
Host fields are true volatile.
what I do like is they put the city there. But the thing you got to worry about with Midjourney doesn't extrapolate. It takes exactly what you have and animates it. Gemini will put in the city and stuff like that, which doesn't work because this is a dojo by the lake, right? If you look at the original here that I had here, let's go back. It goes into the memory sequence. So the city would work, right? Now you can, I could probably write a prompt to say, hey, don't extrapolate, just, keep it as is, blank background, blah, 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 right? Yeah. So again, it's not point and click. It wasn't point and click. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna save this because I'm gonna try to render this. I like the way how she looks, how this turned out. And I'll go ahead and close this. And then I'm gonna come back here. So, all this to say that, so why is it so blurry? All this to say that, my process is very time consumptive. It's about comp. It's about feel for me. Sometimes I storyboard, but by and large, it's like I see it already in my head. So I just try to build the scene and then I render and then I use either a base image or like in the case of using iClone with dance and stuff, because dance is still wonky in AI. Okay. Or one of my other go-tos is you find a nice dance video with characters that resemble your characters if you're doing animation, right? If you're doing an anime overlay. And then you find a nice stock footage like in Pond 5 or Shutterstock, and then use it and base it. And then you try to make it fluid. And all that takes time, it's not a one-stop shop. It's not a one-stop click. As you saw with that, even though I liked the way it turned out, it had a city in the background that doesn't work for the story. So I'd probably have to do several renders. I liked her attitude. I liked the way she moved, but I didn't like the backdrop. So I'd have to go back and redo it. But that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you a bit of my process. I may do more videos like that to show you like how I put the overlay on. The different like I did this in DAZ. Maybe I'll do my process in iClone, like do a dance. I could do a dance one and show you how I do that. And I hope this was helpful. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Love you guys, and I hope to find you well. And talk soon. Bye.